Hello students, last class we have discussed about scientific methods. So we have 5 scientific methods and what are the scientific methods along with the examples we have discussed, right? So now in this class we are going to discuss using science process skills, right? So what are process skills first of all? So generally scientists, so they have done many researches. So in their continuous experiments or in their study, in finding answers, they must require some skills. Okay, so the skills which are used by the scientists, nothing but scientific skills. So there are different processes involved in their experimentation. So to do that processes, they require skills. See here you have some skills are there. Observe, compare, classify and measuring, etc. So they all are skills. So the skills which are used by the scientists in their experiments. So such skills are nothing but process skills. The skills which we use or the skills which we apply in a process, it's nothing but a process skills, right? So without a skill, if we will do anything, we may not get proper result, right? So if we want to get proper result, a good result, we must do that work by using skills. Okay, so skillful work will give success. So that's why scientists always they use some process skills. So now in this lesson, we are going to discuss what are different process skills and they are used by the scientist. Okay, along with examples, we'll learn now, right? See here, when scientists try to find an answer to a question, scientists try to find an answer to a question or to do an experiment, they use thinking tools. They use thinking tools. Means some process will go in their mind. So it's nothing but thinking tools called process skills. You use many of the process skills whenever you speak, listen, read, write, or think. Right? So while writing something, while speaking with elders or while speaking with important persons, we will think before going to speak something. Will think about that. What we are thinking with the conscious mind, we will speak with them. While listening also, if you are listening any class or anything, you must use your skills. Okay, so some process will goes in your brain. It's nothing but process skills. Well, reading also. So for reading also we require skills. For writing also we require skills. Okay, so like this in many aspects we scientists to follow the skills, nothing but process skills. Okay, so what are the process skills and how their process skills helps in a invention? We'll discuss. Right here first. Here we have example. This one of the student, he is a Saket, right? So he want to investigate something. So for that he planned. So what is his investigation? He want to collect different shells. See, he want to make collection of shells. So to collect the shells, he went to seashore. He went to seashore and he collected different shells. Here you can see the shells. So he collected these many shells, right? So then what he want, he want to make collection of shells that are alike in the same way. So he looked for the shells of different sizes and shapes. He want to collect different types of shells with which they are in different shapes and the sizes. So then he must the process skills are helps in his investigation. How the process skills helps to the Saket in his investigation? Let us see how Saket use process skills. How he use process skills. So he required 3 types of process skills. What are the process skills here? Observation, comparison, classification. So the bold words you can see here: observe, compare, classify. These 3 are process skills. These 3 process skills helps to the Saket in differentiating the shells. Right? Right. He observed the shells and compare their size, shape and colors. Then he can classify the shells first into groups based on their sizes and then into groups based on their shape. Is it right? Here, first of all, you have to know what is meant by observation, right? So, observation nothing but use the senses. Use the senses to learn about objects and events. So, let us see. First, observation. For observation, we require all senses. We are using all senses. Nothing but all sense organs like eyes, nose, skin, tongue, ears, eyes, nose, skin, tongue, ears. These all are five sense organs, right? So, to observe something means here Saket observing what? Seashells. He is observing seashells. So, in the observation of seashells, he must use his sense organs. By using the sense organs, he observed them. Right? So, how he used his sense organs? First of all, he has to take one seashell. He has to take one seashell. See here. If you see these all seashells, they are in different colors. I'll write here again. Eyes, nose, ears, skin, right? These are five sense organs: eyes, nose, ears, skin, tongue. Right. First, with the eyes, what he can do here? By using his eyes, he can observe the shape. Is it right? He can observe the shape. He can observe the color of the shell. Color. And he can observe the size of the shells. You can see in the picture, see some shells are big, some shells are small. Right? Means we can observe the shape, color, size of the shells with the help of his eyes. Come to nose. With the help of nose, what he can do? Smell, right? So shells. Is there any can you find any smell in the shells? Yes, there is a smell because they are aquatic animals, so they have the distinct odor. Ears. So can they make noise with themselves? No, the shells cannot make noise. But when we hit the shells, then the sound will produce. Yes, there is a sound. Yes, there is a sound when hit. Yes, there is a sound when hit the shells. Then with the skin, how the skin helps in observation. When you touch the surface of the shells, they are soft in nature. The surface is very soft. Okay? And some shells, surface of some shells, hard. By using the skin, you can identify the surface of the shells, whether they are soft or hard. As some are soft, some are hard. Next, tongue. Is there any taste? No, the shells do not have any taste. Right? So, like this, he has to observe each and every cell with his sense organs. He must check this all. We must observe these all shells by using his sense organs. It's nothing but observation. Right? Then come to comparison. So, like this, he need to observe. Two shell, second shell, third shell, fourth shell, like this. He observed each and every cell in this way and compare these all shells. Compare these all shells. If this cell, for example, the first shell character and the second shell characters are similar, then these two mix into one group, right? And the third shell characters and these fourth shell characters are same. So then these both shells are belongs to one group. Is it clear? So the sense organs helps in observation of the shells. When we observe this, means when Saket observe, then he can give different types of information, right? So this total data helps to the Saket in comparison and the classification of the shells. So after observation, he has to compare them. What is meant by comparison? See, identify the characters. Identify the characters. See, first shell characters, second shell characters, third shell character. Like these all characters he must identify or they, and events and find out how they are alike or different. Okay, so if they are alike, they must arrange in one group. If they are different, they change. That will be in a belongs to other group. And third one, classification. Third process is classification. Group or organize objects or events in a categorized based on the specific characters. So after comparison, the things or the shells which have same characters makes into same group, right? So in this way, then if you see in this picture, all shells are mixed here. Okay, there's a clumsy, they are joined, they are one and another. But here in this picture. So, but if after completing the activity, after completing the experiment with the help of these three process skills, what will happen? There's a formation of different groups. Right, so formation of different group, and in each group you can see same kind of shells, same kind of shells. So this group, the shells which are belongs to this group are alike with same characters, and the shells which are belongs to these groups are alike and which has same characters. So like that. So this process skills helps to the scientist and helps to the students do their work easily, right? And by this we can separate them clear easily. So here they all are joined arranged in a group, but here by using these process skills he can make all into different groups with their characters. So like this process skills are helps in our daily life to do experiments. So three process skills understood: observe, compare, classify. And the another one, what Charita plans to investigate. Here Charita also want to do an activity by using process skills. What she want to do? See, Charita is interested in learning what makes the size and shape of rocks change. Okay, so rocks are changing its shape and size. So what happened? Why the what will be involved in the changing the shapes of the rocks or size of the rocks? She want to know. For that she planned an experiment. So in that experiment she must use process skills. So which process skills are helps to the Charita in her experiment? Let us see. First of all, see, she plans an experiment to find out whether sand rubbing against the rock will cause pieces of the rock to flake off and change the size or shape of the rock. Her hypothesis. So first going to experiment, she has to follow these methods. She can use these process skills. What is the first one? Measuring. So her process skill, measuring. Measuring is nothing but comparison. So here measuring. So first she took some rocks. For example, three rocks. What she want to know? What is the factor involved in the involving and changing the shape and size of the rocks, right? So before going to do the experiment, first she has to measure the rocks. This some grams and shape, and this also the weight of this rock some grams, and this some grams x y z, like she'll get some data. So first she has to measure this. right? See, measure. Compare the attributes of an object such as mass, length or capacity to a unit of measure such as grams, centimeters or liters and gather. Then record it. After this, she has to record. First she measured. Then later she has to record. So what is meant by recording? First record, then display and interpret the data. So first one, gather data. Gather data by making observation that will be useful for inference or prediction. Then record. Record data by writing down the observation, by writing down the observations in the form of table or graphs in a notebook. For example, how she can record this? For example, this rock A, this rock B, this rock C. So here she can draw table. In this table, what? For example, mass of rocks. Rock A, rock B, rock C. Right? So rock A has some X grams. So rigid grams. Rock B, some Y grams. Rock C, some X grams. Like this. In the form of table, she can record whatever the data she collected. Right? Then display. Display data by making tables, charts, or graphs. Means whatever the data she collected, she is displaying in the form of table. Then interpret data by drawing conclusion about what the data shown. This is after the experiment. Again, she will get some data. So then she has to compare these both data, both tables. Then she can interpret the result and conclusion. Right. So first, let us come to the experiment. She, Miss Sharida, she collected three rocks. She collected three rocks, measured their mass, and put the rocks in a jar. And she put the rocks in a jar along with the sand. Along with the sand. For example, she took this jar. In this, she put three rocks along with the sand particles. Along with the sand particles. And she is shaking daily. She is shaking the jar every day for a week. Okay, in total week she is shaking this rock every week. But before this, she measured, she recorded, and after she is doing this experiment. What? She put this all in a one-to-one jar along with the sand, and she is shaking every day. So in that way, 1 week completed. So after 1 week again, what she had done? See, then she measured and records the mass of the rocks. The sand and the container, she interprets her data and concludes that rocks are broken down when sand rubs against them. It's the conclusion. When she observed after 1 week, what happened? So first before experiment, she took three rocks. But after experiment, means after 1 week, what happened? The three rocks become pieces, small pieces. Means the rocks are broken down. Why? Because the rocks are rubbing against the sand particles. Due to this rubbing, the friction arises here. So due to more friction inside the jar, the rocks are broken down and they become small pieces. So when she measured this, again she has to measure. So when she measured this, so the size and shape of the rocks will be changed. It means the mass also changed. So she has to record that again and compare this both, and she can give the conclusion. What is the conclusion? The sand rub against the rocks. Because of that, friction arises, and due to the friction, the rocks are broken down and they become small pieces. So that is the conclusion. Is it right? So here what process skill she has used? She used here measurement. Measuring, gathering data, recording and displaying in the form of table. Is it right? Next one. One more activity. Arvind's activity. What Arvind plans to investigate? Here Arvind also want to do something, investigate something. So he is in that plan to do that investigation. And what he want to do? He want to find out how the light switch in his bedroom works. How the light and switch work in his bedroom. So he uses batteries, flashlight bulb, bulb holder, thumbtacks and paper clips. So with the help of these all, he can do the experiment. But for that investigation, he must require process skills. So which process skills he can use here? Use model, prediction, inference. Okay. First see what is meant by model. Use model. Use model means see it's a model which helps to understand the idea. Which helps to understand the idea and an object or an event such as how something works. How something works. So this model always helps to understand the working or the structure or the function of the object what we want to study. So here he want to study how the bulb and the switch working in his room. So to understand that he must use a model. So that model contain bulb, switch, resolve. So with the help of that model, he can get the information and he can understand how the bulb and switch is working. So use model is one of the process skills. Right? So he decided to use model of switch and the wires in the wall. Then another process skill prediction. Prediction means guessing. Prediction nothing but guessing. So that we will guess anything something. For example, guessing means tomorrow by seeing the climatic condition, we can imagine that yes, there may be rain. Okay, like that. How can you say after some time there is rainfall? How can you say that is your prediction with your past experience? So the already you have experience when clouds are formed, when total climate will become change, it will be cold and it's completely dark. Then you can predict that oh it may be rain. So by seeing the climatic condition with your experience, now you can predict the present situation. Is nothing but guessing. You are guessing the present situation. Is nothing but prediction. So he also can predict. He can guess. That is nothing but prediction. What he is guessing? That predicts that he predicts that the bulb, wire and batteries have to be connected to make the bulb glow. This is his prediction. When he connect this bulb, wire, batteries, then it may be glow. That is his prediction, right? After completing his experiment, whether his prediction right or wrong, we can understand. So, he inference. What is meant by inference here? Use logical reasoning to explain events and draw conclusion. Not the inference, nothing but giving conclusion. Giving conclusion. I observing the prediction after giving conclusion. Here prediction means what I have told, form an idea of an expected outcome based on observation of experience. Observation and experience very important here. Based on the observation and experience, then we will get something. So after testing our prediction, whether our prediction correct or not, we can find out. So after prediction, what he has done? So he connected this all. When he after according to his prediction, he connected bulb, wires, batteries, and everything along with the switch. Then he on the switch. What happened? The bulb glowed. When he disconnected the wires, the bulb put off. So when he connected, the bulb glowed. So his prediction is right. His prediction correct is to glow the bulb, the wires and batteries. So the power supplied through these wires. So with the help of these wires, the bulb is glowing. Means the power supplied through these wires. That is his prediction. Yes, the prediction is right. So inference nothing but giving conclusion. Okay, so that conclusion means how we are giving conclusion, that is in the tabular form, or how that is giving conclusion is called inference. So here the process skills are used by Aravind is use model, prediction and inference. Okay, so these are the process skills are required here. One more experiment, Sweta's experiment. So Sweta also want to investigate. Sweta also want to know about something about the towels, right? Let us see that. Here is a Sweta's experiment. What she want to do? See, Sweta want to know what type of towel absorb most water. She plans to test it to find out how much water different types of towels will absorb. She has three towels that belongs to different brands. Brand A, B, C. So she want to know which towel absorb more water. She want to know which towel absorb more water. So for that she planned an investigation. So in this she can then suggest to her father which type of towel is the best one to buy. By that she can say to her father which is best one. If the towel which absorb more water, so with the towel which can absorb more water, that is the towel is good quality towel, right? So based on her experiment, based on her investigation, she can say which is good quality towel. So for that purpose, she is going to plan her investigation. In that, she required three towels and water. So what are the process skills she can use here? Hypothesis. Already we have discussed what is meant by hypothesis. Same, this is also a possible answer. Hypothesis nothing but a possible answer which can be tested. Okay. So imagination, expectations. She make a statement about an expected outcome. Hypothesis means maybe this towel A is absorb more water, or maybe towel B absorb more water, towel C absorb more water, like that. It's nothing but hypothesis. It's not correct answer, just a hypothesis, possible answer. Maybe this towel A can absorb more water. That is her hypothesis, like that. And one more process skills, plan and conduct experiment. So to finalize this, to find out which towel absorb more water, she has to do experiment. So to do experiment, before going to do experiment, she has to plan, right? So it's nothing but plan and conduct experiment. In this, identify and perform the steps necessary to test hypothesis. So she want to know what is her hypothesis. Maybe this towel A absorb more water. So that is her hypothesis. So she has to test her hypothesis by doing experiment. That using appropriate tools and recording and analyzing the data collected. Okay, so appropriate tools, what she required, three beakers or three buckets and three towels, and so she required water. Okay, so these all materials which which she required to do this experiment. Then third process skill, control variables. Control variables. Here variables are water, time. Variables are water and time. So if we will not control these variables, we cannot get accurate result. It affect on the result. So that's why when doing experiment, we must control variables. What are variables means? Here water and time. See, identify and control factors that affect the outcome of an experiment. It may affect the result. So that only one variable is not to be tested in an experiment. So that only one variable is to be tested in an experiment. So we had to check this out before going to experiment. It's nothing but these all are part in the experiment. That is a process skill, that is plan and conduct experiment. Right? Then how? What is her experiment? So let us start the experiment. First, she choose three types of towels. She choose three types of towels, right? A, B, C. She hypothesized that one type will absorb more water than other. For example, A. Okay. She plans and conduct an experiment to test her hypothesis with the help of following steps, right? What is first step? Pour 1 liter of water into each of three beakers. A, B, C. Three beakers are there, and these three beakers she has to take how much water? 1 liter. 1 liter of water. See, remember here I said water is variable here. So we had to control this factor. Means how can we control? only 1 liter of water. We should not take more than 1 liter and less than 1 liter. Exact 1 liter of water we had to take in each beaker. Okay, so that is nothing but controlling variable. Then second step, soak a towel from all the 3 brands into 3 different beakers for 10 seconds. For 10 seconds. What we have to do next? Put A brand towel into A beaker, B brand towel into B beaker, 3 C brand towel into C beaker C. Okay, we have to soak these 3 towels in 3 beakers. How much time? Only 10 seconds. So I told already, time also it's a factor. If you will change the time, it may affect the result. If you will change the quantity of water, it may affect the result. So that's why we need to take equal amount of water and we must soak all in exactly 10 seconds. Okay. 10 seconds should not increase and should not decrease. Exactly 10 seconds we have to take 3 brand towels. So then take the towels out of the water and let it drain back into the beaker for 5 seconds. Right? So then this towel we have to take out from the beaker and let it be in another beaker. Same another towel. So like this 3 towels we had to take out from the water and put it in a beaker. Then what happened? The water slowly drained back into the beakers from the towel. So then we need to measure this water. We need to measure the water which are drained from the towels. Then by that you can understand, for example, towel A has some amount of water. Means it has more or less water here. Has more water. This has more water. This beaker. Okay. This is beaker A, beaker B, C. Right. So if you observe this beaker, after draining, you observe this. We had to remove the towels from the beaker. Then we measure this water. When we measure this water, in beaker A, the water, less water will be in the beaker A than B. And you observe this both. In the beaker C, more water than B. Okay. So in beaker C, more water than B. In beaker B, more water than A. Finally, in which beaker less water will be? In a beaker A, the water quantity will be less. So, that means the brand A brand towel absorbed more water. By that she can conclude the towel which belongs to brand A is good quality towel because it absorbs more water. Because it absorbs more water. Right? Is it right? See, first beaker A 1 liter of water, beaker B 1 to 1 liter, beaker C 1 liter. When you remove and the towels and when you measure this water, then you can compare this water. First we have to take 1 liter of water and in each beaker we have to take 1 liter of water. But in any beaker there is no 1 liter of water. But if you compare this all beakers with the first beaker, in beaker A, less amount of water will be. So that's why in the towel which we kept in beaker A is absorb more water. So that's why that towel is quality towel. So these are different process skills which we can use in our investigations or experiments.